Hello and welcome to Chem 1120C in summer 2020. So this is just a brief syllabus review. I would encourage you to actually read the entire thing. There might be a quiz question or two on it, but I did want to hit some of the highlights. Now all these are just literally screenshots from the PDF that's on Learn. So first of all, who am I? I am Dr. Goodboot, and my office, when I can actually get in there, is in 102A Arts and Sciences. But if you want to get a hold of me, so I've got a couple of Zoom meetings set up for this class on a regular basis. The meeting times. So I'm going to at least start being available from 9 to 10:15 on Mondays and Wednesdays, which is when this class would have started in its original face-to-face schedule. These are not mandatory, but I just want to maybe get to know you all, and I can maybe start doing some activities to help reinforce what you're learning in class, give you some extra problems, or go over some of the stuff if there are questions. Now, in addition, I have office hours set up immediately after these meeting times, also at Zoom, so from 10:15 to 11 a.m. Now, I'm happy to meet, talk, whatever with you all one-on-one at any time. If you can make those times, I would really appreciate it because I've got those times already blocked off on my schedule. But if not, send me a message, and I would appreciate it if when you do that, give me 3 times that work for you. Odds are, one of them will work for me, and we can get this whole thing scheduled in one back and forth. So again, the meetings are not mandatory, but I would encourage you to check in every once in a while. And if I can get enough of us to be able to do this at the same time, I'd like to try some group activities, some guided inquiry learning activities to hopefully help you all. So hopefully I will see you Wednesday, if not today. All right, so getting a hold of me. I would like for all of the communications for this class to be done within Learn messaging. And I will try to answer anything within 24 hours, maybe 48 hours on the weekend. So, but you also need to be checking your course messages at least daily as well. So please get into the habit of doing that. All right, what you're going to need. All right, so there are some antiquated issues from the syllabus from when we met face-to-face. The big thing is the text. So the textbook is a open source downloadable textbook called OpenStax Chemistry, Atoms First. So I've got a copy of it right on the Learn page, so you can download it from there. Or there's a link here, and this QR code will get you to that same link. I will warn you, it is a very large download. It's about 220 megabytes, so it might take you a while to download the whole thing if you're interested in having it locally. On this site, they also have a web version that you can just look at page by page and not have to download the whole thing in one shot. If, like me, you would much rather have a paper book than a digital one, you can also buy one. And I would encourage you, though, so the publishers sell a high-quality copy for about $25, and I would encourage you to get it from them because they are otherwise giving you the book for free. And they've actually got pretty high-quality copies. On various corners of the internet, there are some pretty bad copies that aren't really worth the money. So you can probably not have to worry about safety glasses or goggles because we're not really having a lab proper this time. We've got a couple of lab-ish activities, mostly in the form of simulations. You will want a calculator. You don't need anything ridiculously fancy, but it does need to be able to do scientific notation and exponential functions. And last but not least, you're going to want a notebook too. So I would encourage you to actually take notes in the class. And a binder or something like it is useful to have everything together because you'll have some printed assignments, hopefully your own notes, things like that. So keep them in one place. All right, so what's the MO for the course going to be like? it's a lot of work in a short period of time. So this class is pretty hectic, even in the fall and spring. In the 8-week compressed summer term, it's even worse. So here's the deal. I'm breaking it up into units. Each unit more or less corresponds to a chapter in the book. And we're going to be covering probably 2 a week, which is the regular in-person schedule for this class. Each unit's going to have a series of lecture videos. They're usually pretty short. I put them on a YouTube channel so that they can be captioned reasonably well. And they're all pretty short. I usually try to keep them under 15 minutes each, so they're easily digestible. And there will be a graded assignment covering the material for each unit. This will vary. It could be a quiz type assignment administered on Learn. It might be a written one that you send to me or something like that. There's also what would have been a lab or a recitation activity that also reinforces what we were talking about for that unit. Sometimes it's going to be a lab simulation. Sometimes it's just additional activities that reinforce some concept that you might have historically had problems with on there. And again, assignment by assignment, these will vary due to the nature of the material. All right, point breakdown. So this is what you're doing in the class. So I've got this set up to be about 1,500 points. So 300 points is going to come from the comprehensive final exam. I'm going to give 2 exams roughly equally spaced during the semester. And they're going to be 175 points apiece. Although I will put 185 points worth of questions, so there's a little bit of extra credit there. There's a unit assignment for each. Those are 35 points apiece. And the lab recitation assignments, of which I have about 14 planned, those are 25 points apiece as well. Now, I would encourage you to perhaps look at the syllabus and check my math on here. What I do want to point out is that the unit assignments and the lab recitation activities are meant to be what we call low stakes assignments. That if you actually do it, you should expect to get most of the points possible. So for example, for the unit assignments, especially those that are given as learned quizzes, I will give you 2 chances to take the quiz and take the higher of the 2 grades. And again, usually for the lab recitations, again, most of the points come from just doing the work. And this is roughly, 57% of the points. So the majority of the points, more than the majority of the points for this class, you should be able to get no problem. Now, the high stakes activities or assignments are the exams, the 2 in-semester exams, and then the final exam. And I'm breaking the class down to a classic, 10% for each letter grade. So here's from a C- on up, and so those are the points that you need to get there. And points are points. It doesn't matter where they come from, they're all the same. What I will say is that you do need to take the final to pass the class. You don't necessarily need to achieve a certain score, but you do need to take it. And so that's grades. So the exams. The first exam covers the first couple of units, or the first 2 chapters that we do, 1 through 4, and then 6 and 7. I intend to give that one out sometime around Monday, June 24th. Now the exams are going to be timed. You do only have 1 shot at them. And my hope is to administer them during the time that we would have had the class where we're meeting face-to-face. So somewhere like between 9 and noon on that day. I will make advancements far ahead to get that scheduled. I will try to get it for the same time for the entire class, but if not, I will work with you to get you a time somewhere near that day where you can take the exam. Likewise for the second exam, that's chapters 8 through 11 and chapter 17. I expect to administer that somewhere around July 15th. And finally, the final exam, which I intend to administer on Wednesday, 22nd of July, which is when we would have normally had the final for this face-to-face version of this class. It would have been our last meeting day. Now, I will provide a practice exam for each of these about a week ahead of time, so you can get an idea what the questions are going to look like and how to do them, or how you and use them to see how prepared you are. And last but not least on the syllabus, probably the most useful thing is a rough calendar of what we're going to be doing here. The 16 units that I've got split up here, and again, we're going to be looking at, on average, probably covering 2 units a week. So get ready. I've only got 1 unit set for this week, which is the math you'll need to know. And in a different video, I've got sort of an intro to how to navigate through the class website, how to do the various assignments. So check that one out next.